This is a story from 2001 when I was 14 at school. We call it the Van der Graaff incident. It's the event that nearly got me expelled from school. Sparks flew. The Van der Graaff generator is got a metal like orb on the top and a belt running under it. You hold on to it, stand in a plastic tray, and the belt goes round. You fill up with static electricity, but don't step out the tray, otherwise you're electrified. So the science teacher, Mrs. Smith, had us all round her in the science lab, and she got in a plastic tray, and she stood in by the Van der Graaff generator, put her hands on it, and she stood in the tray, and she turned it on. And of course, I was standing right by her actually, and she put this little discharger wand, which is full of negative electrons. She had it on the table just behind her, and I was closest to her. Anyway, she fills up with static electricity, and you know, like all her hair goes up on her end, on her head and her arms and everything. And as you can see, this discharger wand, what you're supposed to do is after you finish using it, you like put it against the orb, the Van der Graaff, and then just like you discharge the electrification of the orb. Anyway, as she fills up with electricity, she's talking to us and everything. And remember, like, I'm out of view. Like, I'm not even in her peripheral. I'm like to the side and the back. And the wand's on the table, and she stands out of the plastic tray, right? But she's still full of electricity, and you're supposed to wait a little bit, and then the electricity will die down from your system. Anyway, I don't know, out of curiosity, I just picked up the discharger wand, and I just stuck it against her back, and this big blue bolt of electricity came out, and it from the wand to her spine. She shook, and she was electrocuted. She made a horrible sound, and she peed herself. Right, but she didn't know that I had done it. She looked round to the side of her. Everyone was in shock, and she was covered in pee, and you know, it looked like she could have died. She wasn't in the best of shape, and she said, "Right, get out," to this kid next to me called Dan, and then he pointed that it was me, and then he said, "Get out." Anyway, when I was outside, this other teacher said, "Children in our school who assault teachers no longer attend this school. You should be expelled." I mean, later on after this event happened, all the other students thought I was like a hero, and I was well known as the kid that electrocuted a teacher who got away with it. But at the time, this head of science department wanted to determine whether or not I knew what would happen and intentionally injure the teacher. Now, I didn't intentionally injure the teacher. I was curious as to what would happen. I didn't actually think that would happen. And it turns out up to 100,000 volts of electricity can come out of this. Now, it turns out this is only like an intermediate Van der Graaff, so I probably didn't have that much electricity going through her system. But she could get done for negligence anyway, because she didn't explain everything. And once I said that I had no idea what would happen, I got away with it. But I was very lucky. But it was amazing. Looking back on it now, I feel terrible for the embarrassment it could have caused her, and like if she had a pre-existing heart condition, it could have killed her. But the pee thing and the size of that blue bolt that hit her spine still shocked me to this day. Unbelievable. The weirdest part is the spherical device with negative charges never actually made full contact with her spine when the blue bolt came out. It was at least 3 inches away when the blue bolt came out. Shocking.